How's it going, guys? It's Eclipse here, and today's video is actually really interesting. We've been given the information about the new consumables coming into World of Tanks console, and also we've been given some information as to the customizations you can do to your tank as soon as the update drops. There's lots of new stuff, so make sure that you stick around on the channel for any future updates that come out. So make sure to subscribe if you want to do that. And also like this video if you do actually enjoy it. If you don't, obviously hit the dislike button. Let me know why you like the video, and if you want to see specific content on World of Tanks console, then make sure to leave that in the comment section down below. Now, first things first, we've been given information on the new consumables. These are the icons that you can see on screen. So obviously we've got the standard variant of the Smokescreen. We've then got a premium variant of the Smokescreen, and the same with the whole patch kit. So we've got an enhanced over on the right hand side and the standard whole patch repair kit. Now we'll go into detail as to what these are in just a second, but I mean from the description of them you should probably be able to work it out. Well, first things first is the Smokescreen. So you can see on screen right here what the Smokescreen actually look like. It's a deployable, so you can actually, you click it and then you'll pick where you can put your Smokescreen down in front of you, and then it will act as a concealment, similar to like a bush that's currently in the game. You know, it works as though when you're behind the bush, it will conceal you from enemies straight ahead of you, and if you pull forward in the smoke, you'll become detectable because you're closer, and the smoke doesn't work as a concealment factor. So what is actually interesting about smoke? Why is it going to be useful when the update drops? There's quite a few reasons why that is, and it basically means you can create your own wall where you can use it as kind of a method to get across certain open areas in the map. Maybe if you're thinking about advancing into a certain area, then pop a Smokescreen in front of you. That will allow you to not get spotted before you leave. Obviously, if you're already spotted when your Smokescreen goes off, then you're probably more than likely going to get hit when you deploy your Smokescreen, because everyone tends to blind fire, at least when we think about World of Warships. A lot of the time when people deploy a Smokescreen, it becomes a target where everyone will just blind fire into the smoke, hoping that there's someone sat behind it and that hopefully they'll get some damage from it. Now, this could be useful for your advantage. Obviously, what you might want to do is you're sat somewhat behind cover, you pop a Smokescreen outside of the cover, people start shooting through it, they might get spotted by your friendlies, and then you can deal damage to them whilst not even being in the Smokescreen. You're kind of to the side of it, behind a cover, and you can just poke out, deal a shot of damage, poke back in without getting spotted, because your Smokescreen acts as that camo bush where you won't get detected behind it. Now, this is actually really good for the game. I think that the Smokescreens could be a really good, useful idea, and they can certainly increase some kind of strategy that you might have in the game. You might want to pop a Smokescreen so your enemies think that you go one way whilst you hightail it off the other way, because they're going to be focused on the smoke and the area to the outside of the smoke from where you were, and then you can move around the map in a different direction, or alternatively use it as a position where you can use it as camo and increase your camouflage from the back of the map if you're in a TD or a tank destroyer. Whether they'll come into the new Cold War game mode in terms of higher alpha damage guns than what are currently going to be released, because at the moment we've only got like 100mm to 120mm guns in there, so we aren't going to have necessarily that many interesting fights or dynamics when it first gets dropped. I don't think you're not going to have those different classes. You're going to have mainly mediums and heavy tanks. That's pretty much all that they've got, really, to be honest with you, in terms of the tank classes. Obviously that will develop as they develop new tanks and new classes and everything on the modern armour variant of World of Tanks. So Smokescreens will also be available to any Cold War vehicle. They're not available to World War II as of yet. Whether they'll be implemented in the future, we don't know, on relevant tier 10s or whatever it is. I doubt it, but I think that this is just going to be a Cold War exclusive consumable, but I won't say for sure because it could happen. You know, Wargaming could do anything. As far as how many equipment slots it will take up 1 slot for each consumable. The smokescreen will take up a third. We have the same 3 consumables that you can take into battle, so you'll still probably have the repair kit, your med kit, your fire extinguisher. You'll have all of that sort of stuff in with these new consumables, so it'll be really interesting to see how they work in game, whether they're actually useful, whether you want to take them over something else. I think with the smokescreen, I'm going to take it, but with the whole patch repair kits that we'll get onto in just a second, I don't think I'll use. Now, one thing I did want to cover is obviously the effect on the performance of the game. Now, often when companies release smoke in a game, it really does affect or hinder the appearance of the game. You know, the frames per second go flying down. I'm really hoping that that's not the case, and that if multiple people pop a smokescreen in the same area, it doesn't just give everyone like 10 FPS, because that would be awful for the gameplay. And I hope that they have tested that enough. They have said that they have actually tested 30 players just popping a smokescreen in the exact same spot, and they tested whether to see that would actually crash your GPU or not. They didn't actually say whether it did or not, so I don't get why they've said about that, but hopefully it didn't, and if it did, they've worked it out so that doesn't happen, or at least maybe if multiple people pop a smoke in the same area, it won't actually pop a smoke for every single person. Hopefully that's how it works anyway. As for the way the smokescreen will actually work in game, it will work very similar to a bush, where it works for both you as a friendly player and also the enemy. So say if you pop a smoke screen and you try and hightail it out of there and you're running away from the smoke screen and someone is kind of just behind it on the enemy team, they can use it to not get spotted as well. So it works both ways. It's like a mirror. You know, if you use it, the enemies can also use it. So be sure not to use them in every single situation where it might not be necessary, because it could backfire and the enemies use it to their advantage as opposed to your advantage. Now, one thing I forgot to actually note was the actual use of this consumables. A standard equipment will actually have, you know, the standard being able to just use it once, whereas a enhanced consumable will be reusable, as like on the PC and the current premium consumables in the game, where they'll take maybe a minute or 30 seconds to resupply back in your tank, where you can use it again. It will be the exact same with the smoke screens and also the whole patch repair kits. Now, as far as the smoke screens and the passive ability that you do get, if you just have a smoke screen on your tank, it will increase your camo factor. So that will be as part of it. So your camo factor in your tank, when you equip a consumable that is the smokescreen, it will actually increase it. So that means that you're going to be less detectable by the enemies, and that might come in useful for if you're trying to go for a camo build and a spotting build in the game on this new game mode that's coming out. Now, additionally, enhanced smokescreen also creates a larger smokescreen than the standard variant. Now, this is where it really starts to annoy me with regards to their thought process. Now, you can't just make enhanced version of it infinitely better to the point where if you don't pay for it with silver, you are going to be flat out like not even half as good, literally like a third as good for using the standard to the premium. Because, you know, with the old style, it used to be kind of you'd get a slight buff to your something, but this is literally just better in every way. So not only will you get for your standard consumable, you will get just one use, so it's single use. It won't have a good passive. Well, it doesn't have a passive at all, apparently. Enhanced is unlimited use. It recharges like every other premium consumable. It has a passive bonus as well that decreases your detectability, and it has a larger smoke screen. So there is literally no reason why you wouldn't use a enhanced consumable in the form of the smokescreen. I don't like that. I think that it definitely didn't need to be a larger smokescreen for having the enhanced smokescreen. It's just going to cause this whole new players can't afford the enhanced smokescreen, so they do worse in battles, which means they get less silver, which means that they're not going to be able to pay for the smokescreen, and it just becomes a cycle of being stuck in this rut where they can't get better to get the better silver results to get the enhanced smokescreens. So hopefully they kind of think about that, and it's not just a way of draining silver out of everyone's account so that they purchase silver in the game, because that would be very wargaming-esque. So whole patch repair kits are the next thing that we're going to be talking about. They come in the form of a consumable once again. This is a brand new one, like the Smokescreen is, and it works in the same way as kind of the whole patch repair kits work on World of Warships, where you slowly recover some of your hit points that you've taken over a period of time. It looks like you probably, on the screen right now, you can see it in action, that the hit points are going up very, very slowly, but it looks like on average you'll be able to recoup about or approximately 100 health from each use of the repair kit. It looks like it might take about 20 seconds to use, and then it runs out, so you're probably looking at a small amount of health back, which is always a good thing. I don't think that they should reward you with loads and loads and loads and loads of hit points back, because that would just lead to balancing problems and just a fact where everyone's just going to camp. If it's only a small shot, which allows you to take one more shot than you previously would have done, then that's always fine with me. But if it's just going to recoup so much more of your hit points, then I'm not at all a fan of that. And it basically works on a cooldown as well, so it'll recharge in the game, so you end up with more hit points after it's finished. Obviously people are going to know that when you're going to be healing, because your hit points are going to go up, so they're going to focus you probably more likely, because that people aren't going to like it that you're getting your health back. Now onto the customizations and the camouflages that you can get as part of this. It appears like you'll be able to get a lot more camouflages on your tanks in this new game mode. You can see that on screen right now. This is a list of camouflages that you can apply to your tank. This is the jungle paint jobs. So you've got a variety of loads and loads and different things that you can actually apply to your tank, and it looks actually really interesting. You've got loads of emblems that you can put on. I think most of them are going to be standard, and whether they've actually introduced more of them, I'm not entirely sure, because they haven't stated that they've actually got more emblems now, but it looks like they probably do according to what these look like. I don't think I've seen these before. So I'm really interested to see what the customizations are going to be. It's not a big thing, but it is one of those things that will come over time, and it's a nice addition for people that are just trying to kit out their tank with some nice items. Now, what you might have noticed as well in the background is that the garage is completely different. You can see that we have this woodland scenario in the background. Now, whether this is an actual garage picture or whether they've just cropped in a picture in the back and removed what the garage actually looks like in the background to keep it a secret, or whether it is actually what it says, you can see that the tank actually moves with the background. So I would presume that this is what it actually is. The new garage is going to look like in the back, and I'm actually really hyped about that, because the garage right now looks terrible. I'm not going to lie, it's not one of my favourite ones, and I'll be happy when they actually change that. Whether they change the ability to actually zoom in and out on the garage is something yet to be observed. Don't say, oh well, there's different kind of distances right now, because that is just what happens when you look at the emblems and the customizations on your tank. It actually drags you in closer. So yeah, I really hope that that isn't the case, and that you can actually zoom in and out like you used to be able to, because having that one kind of style where you just are constantly in one place is really annoying, and you can't actually zoom out, so your barrel's just facing right in front of you and you can see inside of it and stuff like that. Really hope that they move the camera back if they're just going to keep it in one singular zoom that you can look at your tank in. There have also been confirmed premium skins coming to the Modern Armour game mode as well as the World War II game mode. We covered the World War II skin on the T55A, it's looking like, in yesterday's video, so if you want to look at that then you can. That goes over like the teaser information and the release of the actual season's name. being First Strike. So if you want to have a look at that, then go ahead. I've also got a playlist as to the modern tanks that you can have a look at the end of this video as well. So that will be linked at the end. If you want to go onto the playlist, it will show you all of the various different things that are coming in with this Modern Tanks update on April 27th in the morning GMT. That will be probably early morning in the US. So you can see on screen the M46A1 pattern with the premium skin. It's kind of this like palm tree-esque leaves all over it. It looks kind of interesting, a bit out there. Yeah, it is kind of interesting, and certainly something that, you know, some of you might want to customize your favorite tanks. And if it happens to be the M46 pattern, then, you know, I'm sure you'll be very happy. And then we can also see the T44A with a premium skin on it. This is another one. It's not the most interesting premium skin, but it does offer like this mouth at the front, and it might be interesting for those of you that are going to purchase them. They will cost you on average probably 2,000 gold, as with the other premium skins in the game. So you're probably looking at about £7 or something like that in terms of real money. That's probably like $10 to be able to pick up a premium skin in the game. So if you want to spend that just to customize your tank, then go ahead. But if not, then it's just something that you'll kind of have to stare at other people with them in there. One thing I did want to touch on before this video ends is the fact that camo actually works as camouflage factor, so it will actually increase your camouflage. Skins will also have that system, so you get a flat out, I think it's like around 5% buff to concealment. So if you put camo on your tank or you've never done it before, it will increase the chance of you staying undetected in a game comparatively if you don't have a camo on your tank. The only problem is it either costs you premium currency in the form of gold to be able to purchase it permanently, or you can pay for 7 days worth or 30 days worth of the camo on your tank for silver. The silver cost is quite a lot, and you have to use it on all 4 different types of maps that you can actually get in terms of the winter, the jungle, the desert, and also the urban areas, and they all cost you lots of gold. So you have to purchase 4 sets of them every single month, and then, you know, after that month is up, or the 30 days, it will reset and you have to purchase it again for silver. But yeah, I think it's 200 gold if you want to purchase a camo on its own, but you'll have to do that for every single like type of camo. If you want it to constantly be on your tank, that will cost you 800 in total to kit out your tank with permanent camo forever, and never have to worry about paying with silver. So if you want that 5% bonus to concealment, then those are your options. Otherwise, yeah, it's you know, it's not a massive deal if you don't put camo. Often I don't really have camo on. I really should if I'm trying to min-max my tank, but often I just forget about it. And yeah, it's not necessarily well known that the camo will give you a concealment buff. The skins also will actually give you that buff too. So if you're thinking that you won't have the camo on it, then you will actually get it with the skin, so the buff will also be with the skin that you have on your tank. Other than that, guys, that is the whole video. I hope it was informative. You learnt a few things maybe with the camo, and also you enjoyed having a look at the new skins that you can have on your tank. If you did, please hit that like button, and remember, if you want to stay tuned with the latest update news on World of Tanks console, then make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll be featuring every single bit of update information, as well as being able to do some World of Tanks console update content for the modern tanks when they actually drop. So I'll be playing in them, giving you some gameplay of the modern tanks when they drop, and also just covering every single aspect of World of Tanks. I'll be featuring some guides as well soon on the channel. We've got a Marks of Excellence one in for this weekend that will probably be coming out tomorrow. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.